AOC, though, she showed back up with her big head and them big old round glasses, the horn rim glasses. She showed back up and she said, listen, I'm going to defend illegal immigration. And Democrats need to get a spine and say what they mean and mean what they say instead of acting like it's not a real thing, but also that we should have illegal immigration. Listen, I got to give a shout out to Nate the lawyer. I seen Nate the lawyer play a little bit of a clip of this, and I said, what is that? How come I've never seen AOC say anything until I seen Nate the lawyer? See, I'm always going to give credit where credit is due. People don't be giving me my credit where they be getting it from, but that's cool. I seen my dog Nate the lawyer mention this, and I said, wait a minute, let me do a little bit of a research, and I got to find out what's going on. And I found the original interview from her. And so I said that I wanted to review this interview with the people because I have not watched the entire interview. I only seen that little bit of a clip. So as a result, we're going to review this together. I love you. I appreciate you. Again, make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. The best day to tap into the Patreon is the beginning of the month. The first is the best day because you get the most value, and we got Stock Club coming up on Sunday. So if you're not a chaser, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's see what AOC had to say to us.
Republicans all over the country, including last night in Kentucky, are voting to roll back child labor laws, calling it a thoughtful solution to get more workers back in the workforce. At the same time, they're blocking immigration reform that could give adult migrants the opportunity to fill those vacant jobs, many of them in dangerous industries. We're back with Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat from the great state, our state of New York. It's great to see you. Thank you for staying extra long on Friday night. I wonder what you think the sort of ethical, moral calculation here is to say, shut the borders down, as these Republicans fully and well know they need a workforce, probably of migrants, to work in these really degrading, dehumanizing, dangerous jobs in places like slaughterhouses, and would rather have children that are already in the country work them.
I mean, there is no ethical or moral.
Do y'all see how she framed the question? I just want to make sure that we all clear. She's basically saying that Democrats are letting migrants into the country. Listen, they don't, for all of you migrants that can translate this into English, or you listening to this with the captions on, let me help you to understand something. They letting y'all in because they want y'all to do the trash jobs. They want you to do whatever it is that we don't want to do. So instead of us improving the working conditions, adding more barriers and parameters on how it is that we can start to do these jobs more ethical, we don't have those conversations. Investing in the business, giving tax incentives in order for them to improve the conditions by which people then subject themselves to working these particular things. Because the thing about capitalism is it's free enterprise, right? Meaning that if it's not valuable, then people won't find a reason to try to make money from it. But instead of us having that conversation, what we saying is, listen, we need a bunch of slaves to come over here and work the jobs that we don't want to work, also giving them opportunities and making them a new voter class, and then making sure that they continue to keep the American dream popping. Okay, cool. So that's how she framed the question. Let's continue.
Calculation here that I think Republicans are working with, putting the first and foremost, the amount of protections that they heap on to these places that are so dangerous, themselves operating so unethically, and making them so dangerous for any human, adult or child, to be operating in. But the idea that Republicans, in order to win an election, say we need to hermetically seal the border when they know that that is economic self-sabotage to the U.S. economy. And they are saying, let's do it anyway. And to compensate for the negative effects, we're going to allow and throw people's kids into factories. That is what they are doing in rolling back child labor laws while being as xenophobic and anti-immigrant as they are, and while ginning up this false narrative about this being a crisis. And by the way, by then also preventing and blocking any legislation that would provide not just a path to citizenship, but a path to work papers, a path to allowing people who want to work to be paired with American businesses who need people to work. And I mean, there is not only no moral calculation, there is no economic calculation, there is no logical calculation, there is only a political calculation. And that political calculation is we are going to keep whining about it. We are going to keep pretending this is a crisis while contributing to actual problems. And then we're going to block the solution so that we can campaign on it over and over and over. And we can call it caravans, we can call it migrant crises, we can call it family separation, and they will just recycle it over and over and over again in order to gin up, just so much animosity and destruction in this country and racism in this country, because that's the only thing that the Republican Party even is standing on at this point.
You're hearing it directly from her mouth. She's saying that we're xenophobic and we're racist towards illegal immigrants in this country. So instead of allowing anybody to be able to come over here and then giving them a path, regardless of the fact that they didn't do it legally, right? But let them come over and then quickly giving them a pathway to citizenship, when we say that they're not here because of asylum seeking, but they're here because they're taking advantage of the opportunities of the American justice system and getting free everything because of the social services and the laws that's on the books, then we are fearful of them. That's what a phobia is. When they say you're a homophobe or you have a phobia of this, that means that you're scared. I'm not scared. I don't agree. I don't agree with the idea that anybody should be able to come over into this country and we don't have any way to vet them. We don't know where they came from. We don't know what their background is. We don't know if they just got out of jail. We don't even know why their own country don't want them. But then we want to make sure and allow for them to have a pathway to be able to use our roads, our infrastructure that your American tax dollars paid for, to then do what they want to do, because if you don't, then it's a phobia against you. Where have we used this? Where have we seen this be used against us on a regular basis? We see this used against us all the time. When they don't like what the fact that you don't like or you don't agree with somebody's decisions or lifestyle, or the fact that they continue to do stuff illegally, then they say that you're scared of them. Oh, you're just scared. You don't know any better. So you're scared of the thing that you don't know. No, I'm not scared. And I understand exactly what's happening. And I'm familiar with what's going on. And you're not going to shame me into agreeing with you by then saying that I have a phobia of you when I don't. I just know what this is. I know what the finesse is. I know that y'all absolutely, positively are trying to give these people a pathway into doing what you want them to do so that they can then make the decisions to be on your behalf and then make sure that they support you. But we're not talking about the little girl that just got killed. We're not talking about the fact that it's brawls every single day and they messing up the money and the tourism that's happening over in New York. We're not talking about the fact that the American voters are the ones that put y'all in office to do the business of the American voters and on our behalf, but y'all doing the things that y'all want to do based off of how you feel because you don't have any repercussions that come along with it. The only thing that you're concerned about is maintaining power.
You say it's a political calculation. I think that part is clear, but at the same time, it's like, if you told me that they're trying to weaken child labor laws on its face as a headline, that should not be politically expeditious. The reason they've managed to be able to do it is because nobody's talking about migrants anymore. Nobody's talking about the value of migrants, and that includes Democrats.
That's all we talk about. That and the affordability crisis and homelessness are the number one things, 1, 2, and 3. Affordability, your ability to be able to buy food, feed your face, do the things that you want to do, get a job, not be unemployed. Homelessness, keeping a roof over your head, not getting kicked out on your face. You can't afford your bills or anything. That's the only thing. That's the number one thing that we talk about every single day. All we talk about is the fact that we can't even take care of our own, but we so busy pouring money into things that we don't even support. How y'all gonna take the American tax dollars, run up the debt in every city and federally, and we giving money over to causes that we don't even support? Ukraine, Israel, all of these places. That's the number one thing that we talk about. Listen, there has been no subject, even Tiffany Henyard, even Fawny Willis, even Brandon Johnson, there has been no subject that I have hit on over the last year and a half more than what is going on in the migrant crisis. I have been so dedicated and fervent in helping people to understand what's coming, what's happening. This is what we need to pay attention to. Listen, when y'all get done talking about relationships, we need to talk about the money. We need to talk about the migrant crisis. We need to see what's happening over here. And this is what's happening in California. And businesses are shutting down. And homelessness is rampant. And single parent households are the ones that's putting these people in office, that's making the decisions on your behalf. And then they got El Paso and the border is open and they shipping them up to Chicago. And Brandon Johnson is supporting them. And Chicago is going broke. And New York is cutting sanitation. And they don't have enough police officers. And they dedicating all of this money, over $30 million a month. And who's these companies that's benefiting as a result of it? That's the only thing we've been talking about more than anything else. And I put so much on the back burner in order to try to educate the people so that we know and they not just shuffling this in under your nose because there's no more important issue. So much so, we've covered it as independent journalists and we put our own platform on the back burner in order to continue to have this conversation more than any other major news source. CNN ain't been talking about it. ABC ain't been talking about it. NBC ain't been talking about it. Fox News just now starting to catch the wave. See, all of these platforms is starting to leapfrog off of us. They listen to us before they start listening to y'all. And so it's just like the record companies. They see what's hot, and then they start to piggyback off of it, and they start to try to ride the wave. No other. If it wasn't for us, independent people that seen the value and wanted to continue to educate the people, if it wasn't for us, we wouldn't even know what was going on in the first place. And yet they continue to give you the Masked Singer. They distracting you with issues that's not even relevant to your life. They want you to be distracted amongst things that don't even matter, yet they already running a play without your permission. They're running a play. They running a play right under your nose, and they don't even care about what you think about it. That's a fact, though.
Democrats.
Absolutely.
I mean, like, are you dismayed that this White House, it acknowledges or it believes that it has a political problem on the border, and it is playing decidedly on sort of the Republican turf here in terms of what it's suggested,
and the White House
what it's
won't
agreed
even talk
to,
about
the
it.
executive orders that have been sort of reported on thus far? Are you dismayed by that and the sort of contours of this conversation?
I am dismayed, and I'm very often find myself in shock at our current political
No, young boy.
situation.
Not talking about it for months, talking about it for years. We ain't just started talking about this for months. We've been talking about this for years. We've been talking about this since 2022.
Not just, I'm rarely in shock at the depravity of the Republicans, but sometimes, and this is long what I've been saying, sometimes we as Democrats have to grow a little bit of a spine around here. And part of that means defending immigration as a core value of the United States of America.
Y'all hear it. You're hearing it. You're hearing it with your own ears and seeing it with your own eyes. She said, listen, we need to defend this. She didn't say legal migration. She said immigration. We need to defend this as a core value of the United States of America. It's not about the people that's already here. It's not about the taxpayers. It's not about any of that. It's about them. It ain't about you. She's telling you out of her own mouth what they stand for. And you're still going to rock with her. She's telling you.
Yes, on a moral and on an identity basis, but on a nuts and bolts basis. The United States, our culture, our population, our economy needs immigration like lungs need oxygen. And when you cut it off, we will start to die. When you look at other developed economies that have adopted xenophobic or more closed border policies, they enter into decades of economic stagnation. You don't need to look far for that to happen. We do not have to be afraid to say immigration is one of the best things to happen to the United States.
Y'all hearing it? And they relabeling it. They making sure that they say immigration. Now illegal immigration, not coming into this country, understanding that you're doing it wrong and you're doing it against the law. Laws are on the books for a reason.
United States of America. And what we need to do is champion policies to make it easier to be documented, to get a work permit. And a lot of folks think there's a line to get into this country. Maybe we should make one that works. Because without that, it's just... We see the inhumanity of a dysfunctional system. And so instead of buying into this Republican rhetoric, because what's happening is that we're pouring dollar after dollar, cycle after cycle into an increasingly militarized border with no real solution here. And now one of the largest law enforcement agencies in the entire United States of America sits under the Department of Homeland Security. But how much better off are we today than we were 5 years ago?
Well, I can answer that question. 5 years ago, we was popping. Let me tell you something. In 2019, I had made more money than I ever made in my entire life. The economy was booming. People was running it up. Our borders was more secure. Y'all was still fighting Trump on securing our borders. See, nobody had a problem with it when Obama had deported more illegal immigrants than any other president that happened before him. Nobody had no kind of problems whatsoever. But I tell you one thing, when Trump started implementing the exact same policies as Obama, everybody had a problem with it. Biden himself, I played the video, he said, listen, without us being able to secure and protect our borders and know who's coming in here, we fundamentally fail as a country. He said it on the campaign trail when they was trying to get Obama elected. I played the video for y'all multiple different times. But then all of a sudden, she said, how much better are we off than 5 years ago? Significantly. Significantly worse. Because we was popping in 2019 is when I retired. I made so much money in 2019. I said, listen, I'm retiring. Real talk. Real talk. 2019, we was killing it. We was absolutely killing everything. Listen, 16 through 19 through 20, we ran up a bag. I'm going to tell you. Black people, I never seen so many Escalades and G-Wagons and Lamborghini Youres. And I didn't say that y'all managed y'all money effectively. I just said that y'all ran it up. People was getting a bag. A bag. Now look at you. You're making more money than you ever made before, but you're broker than you ever been before. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? Listen, she said it out of her own mouth. All I did was react to it. I'm just showing you what the play is. I'm just showing you what the play is. We got to move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let me read this super chat really quickly, and then we're going to go to the next subject. Shout out to P. Shank. P. Shank said, good morning, Mr. Anton. Trump don't have none at all. None at all. What's up, P. Shank? How you feeling today? How you feeling today, P. Shank? Listen, I appreciate you. I love you, and I thank you for continuing to hold me down. Let me also acknowledge my dog, Clay Black. They said, Anton, on Cash App, he said, Anton, you doing the greatest show ever. You hit me off with that 35 ball. I need to get an animation to acknowledge the people. I'm going to work on that over the weekend. Shout out to P. Shank. Shout out to Clay Black on Cash App. I appreciate you, big dog. And shout out to Larry Turner, just joined the Bag Chasers on Patreon. Yes, I do get an alert. I get an alert and a notification for every single Bag Chaser. And today, the first of the month is the best day. The best mortgage rates was 4%. You can go out there and buy a home and you wasn't even tripping about it. life was good, wasn't it? Actually, I think the mortgage rates was a little bit less than that. Inflation was down. Jobs was up. HBCUs was getting funding. Immigrants, illegal immigrants was getting thrown out of the country because they wasn't supposed to be here in the first place. Jesus Christ. Yo, take me back to 2019. Kevin Samuels was here. Man, what's going to happen in the next 5 years is the question. When we get to 2029, how much different is it going to be than today?